Hello everybody and welcome to Bite Size Biology, and today we are going to look at the breathing system. The breathing system is a common enough question, and generally it's a short question when it comes up, but so that's about 20 marks. But you can sometimes see it come up in a long question, a part of it at least. So what you need to know, you should be able to draw a label diagram of the breathing system, okay, which is tougher than it sounds. You should also be able to describe the process of inhalation. Now, funny enough, just a quick note on that exhalation has never been asked. So whenever it comes up, it's always inhalation for some reason. But I'm not saying you don't need to know exhalation, I'm just saying inhalation is when that comes up. Part 3. Adaptations of the alveoli and capillaries. If you've studied the digestive system or the circulatory system, you probably would have seen these come up before, particularly the capillaries. Okay, state the effect of carbon dioxide on inhalation, exhalation, link to circulatory system, because obviously the reason we inhale oxygen is so that oxygen goes into our bloodstream to be transported to our cells, and also to describe a cause, treatment of a named disorder, breathing disorder. I look at asthma, you might have looked at something different, but just to let you know that asthma is the one I'm going to be using. So let's get started. It came up recently enough, that was 2019, and you're given a diagram here of alveolus. Alveoli is plural, alveolus is singular, and a capillary which is around it. You're told the blood flow. So name the blood vessel from which the capillary arises. Well, it has to arise from the pulmonary artery. Okay, now that was a tricky enough one, to be fair. Okay, but it arises from, okay, so that's the pulmonary artery is where it comes from. Okay, and then, going back towards the heart is the pulmonary vein. 3 features of the alveoli or their capillaries that allow for efficient gas exchange. Large surface area and one cell thick are the more common ones. Particularly for the alveolus, you could refer to it as being moist. And then part C of that question, name a disorder of a breathing system. So I said asthma, like I said, a cause of it, you could say allergens, dust, and treatment. An inhaler, or to stay away from the allergen, is more, well, to be fair, an inhaler is a treatment, and staying away from the allergen is more of a preventive treatment, if that makes sense. So I'm not sure I would actually accept that myself. I know in marking schemes it's fine, but inhaler is the better answer, because that actually is a treatment. If you say medicine, by the way, that's no good. Okay, you must refer to it specifically. So this is one where 2014, where you're asked to draw a large label diagram of the human breathing system and then outline the process of inhalation. 27 marks. That means it was half a long question, so a significant portion. So this is my picture that I took down. It doesn't have to be a model diagram. Okay, like this. Like this is obviously, it's really, really good. Your diagrams won't be near as good as this, for most of you anyhow. So don't worry about that, just make sure you have it labelled as much as possible. The marking scheme is quite soft for this, okay? So don't worry about it too much. But I would practice. Inhalation. Now I actually just took this from my from the conical flask, from the notes there, because I like the way I have it phrased, and really you can't change it, okay? So I'll start. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. The carbon dioxide levels causes the brain to send a message to contract and flatten the diaphragm. So if the carbon dioxide levels are particularly high, okay, intercostal muscles contract and the ribs move up and out. Remember, it is the muscles that cause the movement of the skeletal system. So the intercostal muscles contract, ribs move up and out. You must refer to up and out. Okay, even if you didn't mention the intercostal muscles, if you say the ribs move up and out, you'll get the marks. Now, always refer to volume and pressure. So the volume of the thoracic cavity, which is where your lungs are located, increases, because if you think about it, when we inhale, our lungs are increasing. And when we increase the volume, we decrease the pressure. And it's that difference in pressure in your lungs and externally outside us that causes air to move in. Okay, so air moves in because of the difference in pressure. It's come up quite often in the inhalation process, and they have asked to specifically refer to the volume and pressure. So you do need to learn it off. Part C, this is actually more than 27 marks. Part C, it was nearly actually a full-on question. So C, name a structure in which cells, name a structure found in cells in which carbon dioxide is produced. So a structure there would be your mitochondria. Give a feature of a capillary which allows for rapid uptake of carbon dioxide. One cell tick. Carbon dioxide levels are usually higher in venous blood than arterial blood. That makes sense, yeah. Why is this the case? Well, respiration has taken place. Okay, so venous blood has collected carbon dioxide from cells in which respiration has taken place. Okay, so refer to respiration as taking place. The arterial blood is bringing blood into the cells. So therefore it's still oxygenated, but the deoxygenated blood is going to be in the veins. Name a blood vessel which is an exception to the situation outlined in part 3 and give a reason for this. So you have to name a blood vessel where part 3 is an exception. Okay, so I always go to the pulmonary vein. The pulmonary vein is bringing blood towards the heart, but it is actually carbon dioxide poor. In other words, it's oxygenated because it's just coming away from the lungs to the heart. Okay, so that's the blood vessel, that's an exception to it. Briefly outline the role of CO2 in the control of human breathing rate. So all you have to do there is say that the medulla oblongata, which is the part of your brain that monitors CO2 levels, it detects if they are too high. And if carbon dioxide levels are too high, okay, it triggers faster and a deeper breathing. Carbon dioxide, when dissolved in water, forms carbonic acid, which makes the pH of it acidic. We don't want our blood to be acidic. And it's the same thing here. If carbon dioxide dissolves in, which naturally does, dissolve in plasma too much, it will form an acid. Okay, make it more and more acidic, which will have a negative impact on our enzymes. So that's why when the medulla oblongata is triggered, faster, deeper breathing then, because we're inhaling more oxygen, but we're also exhaling more carbon dioxide. 2009 part C, named parts A, B and C. So A is your bronchiole, B is your alveolus, you could have said air sac for that, and C is pointing to this thing over here, that's your capillary. Two features of the diagram that allow for efficient gas exchange. So we're seeing a lot of repetition here. One cell tick, large surface area, moist. Okay, I gave 3 features there. Name a disorder of the breathing system. That's your asthma. A cause, prevention, treatment. So a cause is dust, allergens. Prevention is avoid dusty rooms. Okay, and treatment then is your inhaler. Okay, so remember up above there earlier I said to avoid dusty rooms or avoid your allergens and stuff like that as a treatment. That's really more of a preventive measure than anything. Which gas dissolved in blood can trigger deeper or faster breathing? Well, that's going to be carbon dioxide. And I think that's it. Yeah, it doesn't come up that often, but when it did come up once or twice, it has come up as either almost a full-on question and certainly a short question there or 2. Okay, everybody, so that's it for the breathing system there. So these are the main questions here. Exhalation has never been asked, but that doesn't mean it cannot be asked, just be careful of that. 3 adaptations, okay, generally you're asked for 2, but 2019 you were asked for 3 of them. Make sure you can link it to circulatory system, and obviously carbon dioxide, you need to know the link between the nervous system, which you know is the brain, and medulla oblongata, and carbon dioxide levels. Okay, that's it, everybody. I hope you took something from that, and all the best with your studies.